Hey, Bears fans. This is the Bears News Fan Report bringing you another huge update for those who want to stay on top of everything about our team. So you know the drill. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any bombshell news like this. Now, hold on to your seats. Micah Parsons to the Bears? It might seem like a distant dream, but it could be closer than we think. If this happens, Chicago's defense would take a massive leap, completely changing the landscape of the NFC. According to Ian Rappaport of NFL Network, the Dallas Cowboys are evaluating Parsons' future. With his fifth-year option coming up in 2025, the Cowboys are at a crossroads. Either renew his contract with a massive deal or trade him for a haul of draft picks. And this is where the Bears come into play. The team holds 2 first-round picks in the next draft and has enough cap space to absorb an elite contract. But is it worth it? One thing is certain, Micah Parsons is no ordinary defender. Since entering the league, he has been a nightmare for quarterbacks and an unstoppable force on the defensive line. He doesn't just rack up sacks at an elite level, he completely changes the way defenses are structured. Now imagine him pairing up with Montez Sweat. The Bears' front seven will become an absolute nightmare for any opposing offense. The team would finally have that game-changing defensive piece capable of turning the unit into one of the best in the NFL. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows. The cost of bringing in Parsons would be high, possibly 2 or 3 first-round picks. The question is it worth sacrificing the future to land a proven superstar? Ryan Poles has done an outstanding job rebuilding the roster strategically. Would such an aggressive move make sense now? Or would it be wiser to stick to the long-term plan and use the picks to build a more balanced roster? Now, we want to hear from you, Bears fans. If you were the Bears GM, would you make this trade? Do you believe Parsons is the missing piece to turn this team into a real playoff contender? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share this news with your friends, and subscribe to the Bears News Fan Report so you don't miss any updates on this potential blockbuster deal. The NFL is unpredictable, and if there's one thing we know, it's that anything can happen. Stay tuned because this story is far from over. If the Bears truly want Parsons, they have the assets to get a deal done, 2 first-round picks, solid cap space, and a roster that needs a defensive game-changer. The problem? The Cowboys know they have a generational talent and won't give him up for cheap. The most likely trade scenario would involve 2 first-round picks, plus a second or third-rounder, along with some salary cap maneuvering to accommodate Parsons' future deal. But is this gamble worth the risk? Here's the dilemma. Teams that trade multiple picks for a star player usually do it when they are one piece away from a Super Bowl run. Are the Bears at that stage of their rebuild? Or would this be the perfect move to accelerate the process and turn them into an immediate NFC threat? If Parsons lands in Chicago, expect a completely transformed defense. With him and Montez Sweat creating pressure, opposing quarterbacks will be forced into quick throws and rush decisions, something that benefits the entire defense. Beyond that, having a player of Parsons' caliber raises the level of everyone around him. Young players like Gervon Dexter Sr. and Kyler Gordon could develop even further alongside such a dominant leader. The secondary, which has already shown promise, would have less pressure since quarterbacks would have less time to throw. But what if the Bears hold on to their picks? They could strengthen the defensive line through the draft, land a young elite talent, and maintain their long-term strategy. The question is there anyone in the draft who could have the same immediate impact as Micah Parsons? The final decision rests with Ryan Poles and the Bears front office. He has already proven to be a strategic GM, not one to make desperate moves. But at the same time, he knows that opportunities like this don't come often. If Caleb Williams lives up to expectations and the Bears finally have their franchise quarterback, going all in on defense could be the ideal move to build a true contender now. If this trade happens, the 2024 Bears will be a completely different team, ready to compete for the playoffs with more firepower than ever. If it doesn't, then the draft will need to provide the reinforcements to fill that gap. Now, Bears fans, if you were in Ryan Poles' shoes, would you make this trade or stick with the draft? Is Parsons worth the high price, or does the team still need more pieces before making such a bold move? Drop your comments below, share this news with fellow Bears fans, and of course, subscribe to Bears News Fan Report to stay updated on this trade and much more. The 2024 season is shaping up to be one of the most exciting for Chicago in years. And if there's one thing we've learned about the NFL, it's that anything can happen. As a Bears fan, I'm torn on this potential trade for Micah Parsons. On one hand, he's a defensive monster, a true game changer who could turn Chicago's defense into one of the most feared in the NFL. On the other hand, the price is steep. 2 or 3 first-round picks could jeopardize the team's future if things don't go as planned. From an immediate impact standpoint, bringing in Parsons would take the Bears to another level. With him and Montez Sweat in the front seven, opposing quarterbacks would have nightmares facing this defense. Plus, if Caleb Williams truly becomes the franchise QB everyone expects, investing heavily in the defense makes perfect sense. Championship teams are built with balance on both sides of the ball. But here's the issue. Chicago is still rebuilding. The team needs more pieces to become a real contender. Trading away multiple picks could slow that process, especially when there are promising defensive talents in the draft. If I were Ryan Poles, I'd only make this trade if I was sure that the Bears can truly compete in the next 2 years. If the front office believes they can fight for the playoffs in 2024 and 2025, then landing Parsons is a no-brainer. But if there's still uncertainty about the offense's development, it might be wiser to keep the picks and continue strengthening the roster through the draft. At the end of the day, the possibility of seeing Parsons in a Bears uniform is too exciting to ignore. If this trade goes through, Soldier Field will shake with a dominant defense. But if it doesn't, there's still hope to build a championship team with patience and smart decisions. And you Bears fans, would you go all in for Parsons or stick to the long-term plan? Stay tuned and bear down.